Welcome to the Future of Triple E channel. I am Siddharthan. In this video, I am going to discuss the speed control methods of three-phase induction motor. I believe it will be interesting for students and also industrial persons. So, let's get started. National Electrical Manufacturers Association (NEMA) of the US has classified squirrel cage induction motor into Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D and Class E to meet the application needs of the industry. They have characterized based on the torque speed characteristic of induction motor, and the most important mission parameter in the classifications are rotor resistance and slip, because if the rotor resistance in the motor is high, then starting torque TST will be high, and if the motor is having low operating slip for wide range of torque, then efficiency will be high. As you can see, Class A motors are characterized by somewhat low starting torque TSTA because it will have low rotor resistance, but it's having low operating slip, which means it can give better efficiency. When compared to Class A, Class B will have low starting torque TSTB but somewhat high slip characteristics. It will be used for constant speed drives. Whereas Class C and Class D induction motor are characterized by high starting torque TSTC and TSTD due to the high rotor resistance. Recently, high efficiency Class E machines are introduced, which is almost similar to Class A, where the motor will operate in low slip region for wide range of torque. So it will give maximum efficiency. Okay, now we will see the speed control methods of induction motor. Before that, let me answer why I am choosing induction motor for speed control. I prefer induction motor due to its rugged construction. It's because of the absence of mechanical commutator, which means we will have less maintenance, and also due to the availability of solid state controllers. Broadly, speed control methods of induction motor are classified into line voltage control, line frequency control, which is again classified into variable frequency constant voltage method and variable frequency variable voltage method, or otherwise known as voltage bar frequency V/F control method. In V/F control method, if the inverter input is voltage, then it's called voltage source inverter fed induction motor drive, and if the inverter input is current, then it's called current source inverter fed induction motor drive. Based on the switching operation, they are again classified into 6-step and pulse width modulation. Third method is called rotor resistance control, where we control the rotor resistance to control the speed, and the fourth method is called slip power recovery scheme, where the slip power from the rotor is recovered and given back to the supply. As we need rotor terminals out in third and fourth method, this can only be used in slip ring induction motor and not in the squirrel cage induction motor, since rotor windings are short circuited in squirrel cage induction motor. Okay, first let's discuss line voltage control method. This line voltage control method is very simple and economical method. To understand this method, let's consider variable three-phase stator voltage is given to the induction motor, which is connected to the fan load. Usually for fan load, the torque varies square times the speed as shown here. We know the speed torque characteristic of squirrel cage induction motor. Superimposing the speed torque characteristic of load on motor, then we will get the speed of N1 for 25% of stator voltage, N2 for 50% of stator voltage, N3 for 75% of stator voltage, and N4 for 100% of stator voltage. So this is the speed range of induction motor, where we can increase the speed from N1 to N2 to N3 to N4 by increasing the stator voltage from 25% to 100%. To get the wider speed range, motor with high slip characteristics can be used. So NEMA Class D motor can be suitable for this type of line voltage control method. Now we know that by changing the stator or line voltage, it is possible to change the speed of the induction motor. But how to change the line voltage or stator voltage in induction motor? There are three different methods to implement that. Method 1, using three-phase auto transformer, by which voltage can be varied in the induction motor. Here, variation will be smooth and output voltage will be a pure sinusoidal. Method 2, using solid state controllers. Here, stator voltage can be controlled by the firing angle control alpha of anti-parallel thyristors connected in each phase as shown in figure. It's simple to understand but complicated to analyze. Here output voltage will be non-sinusoidal. So in large power application, an input filter is required. Otherwise, large harmonic current will flow in the supply line. Method 3. Using closed loop solid state controllers. It is used in application where precise speed control is required. To make it simple, let's understand the whole process in 6 steps. In step 1, the desired speed n star which we want may be obtained from potentiometer on the front panel or remotely from elsewhere. In the digital version, the desired speed will be set on the keypad. In step 2, the actual rotor speed n will be sensed by the speed sensor. In step 3, the desired rotor speed n star and actual rotor speed n is compared in the error generator. In step 4, the error generator generates the error which is equal to the difference between the desired rotor speed n star and actual rotor speed n, and this will be given to the controller. Controller job is to make the error to 0. Based on the error, in step 5, the controller will control the firing angle for all the 6 anti-parallel thyristors. For simplicity, I have shown only one in this block diagram. Based on the firing angle, solid state controller will vary the voltage in induction motor. For example, let's take the desired speed n star which we want as 1200 rpm. The actual rotor speed n is only 1000 rpm. You can think it's because of any disturbances such as supply voltage fluctuations. So the error generator will generate the error which is n star minus n, so it is 200 rpm. Since the error is positive, the controller will decreases the firing angle, which in turn will increases the voltage and speed to make the error as 0, or in other words, to make the actual rotor speed n to be equal to the desired rotor speed n star. In this example, if you don't know how voltage is increasing if the firing angle of the thyristor is decreasing, don't worry. We are quickly going to see how that is happening for single phase. Here consider single anti-parallel thyristors of T1 and T2. Thyristors will be turned on when two conditions are satisfied. Condition 1 is to forward bias the thyristor, and condition 2 is to give the gate pulse to the gate terminal G1 and G2 of the thyristor. Forward bias occurs when anode potential A is greater than cathode potential K. The time at which the gate pulse given to the thyristor is called firing angle alpha. So if we consider single phase input AC voltage as shown, then thyristor T1 will be forward biased during positive half cycle, since anode potential A is greater than cathode potential K for T1, but it will not turn on until I am giving the gate pulse for G1. For example, if I am giving the gate pulse at the time alpha is equal to 30 degree, then output voltage will be equal to the positive cycle of input voltage from that 30 degree. Before that it will be 0 as shown. Note that a small amount of negative voltage is also present here. It's usually happen because of high inductance in the motor. Next, during the negative half cycle of input voltage, the thyristor T2 will be forward biased, since anode potential is greater than cathode potential for T2 now. But again it will not turn on until I am giving the gate pulse for G2. To maintain the negative part of the waveform as the mirror reflection of positive part, I will give the gate pulse at the time alpha is equal to 180 plus 30 degree now. So the output voltage will be equal to negative cycle of the input voltage from that 180 plus 30 degree. Before that it will be 0 since no thyristor is conducting. Now note that a small positive voltage is also present. Again it's because of high inductance in the motor. If we change the firing angle alpha from 30 to 60 degree, then the output voltage will be look like as shown here. As you can see, the turn off time will be larger for alpha is equal to 60 degree when compared to alpha is equal to 30 degree. So the average voltage for half cycle in alpha is equal to 30 degree will be greater when compared to alpha is equal to 60 degree. I think now you understand why voltage is increasing when firing angle is decreasing in closed loop solid state controllers. Now let's see the advantages and disadvantages of this line voltage control method. First, let's see advantages of this method. It's very easy and economical method. We can also increase the speed range by using class D type of motors. Let's see the disadvantage of this method. As you can see, at the low speed, the slip proportional to ns minus n is large. So there will be low efficiency in the motor. For example, consider the lowest speed n1 in the characteristics. The difference between the synchronous speed ns and n1 is large, and hence there will be high slip in the motor. So the efficiency will be low, especially when motor is operating on the low speed regions. So usually this type of control is used where efficiency is not desirable, such as fans, pumps and centrifugal drives. Note that here we are not changing the frequency. So synchronous speed ns will never change in voltage control method. In the next video, we will see the line frequency control where we will change the synchronous speed ns and hence the rotor speed n. So please subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.